At first, everything with Lauren felt effortless. We spent weekends hiking, cooking, and laughing about nothing. She said she liked simple things, and I believed her. But small comments started slipping through her perfect smile. "When you get that promotion, maybe we can travel more," she'd say. Or, "Other guys I dated never worried about prices like you do." I brushed it off, thinking she was just teasing. But deep down, something in her tone felt off. She never asked much about my work, but she noticed what I didn't have. She noticed the old car, the apartment, the Target shirts. And she mistook humility for limitation. She thought I was just an average guy with an average paycheck. It didn't bother me at first. I figured she'd see who I really was with time. But then I learned about her friends, the so-called sister squad. They were 5 women who treated Instagram like a religion. Brittany, the self-proclaimed business coach selling supplements online. Madison, an influencer with fake followers and real debt. Ashley, a fitness model who dated only men with money. Tiffany, a bank teller pretending to be a financial expert. And Samantha, a nurse convinced she was too good for her job. Lauren adored them. They called each other sisters and acted like royalty. When I suggested meeting them, she always had an excuse. "They're just protective," she'd say. Or, "They take time to warm up to new people." After 10 months together, that excuse didn't make sense anymore. My best friend Ryan warned me something was off. He said, "If she hides you from her friends, she's hiding something." I didn't want to believe him. Lauren had a way of making me doubt my own instincts. She'd say I was overthinking things. She'd smile and kiss me, and I'd forget what I was worried about. But her words started to change. She began comparing us to other couples she knew. She'd scroll through social media, staring at pictures of luxury vacations. "Look how happy they look," she'd whisper. When I said happiness didn't come from money, she rolled her eyes. "It's not about money, Ethan. It's about effort." Her version of effort always seemed to involve a credit card. Then came the talk about her ex, Trevor. She said he used to spoil her with gifts and trips. She said he made her feel like a princess. I smiled and said, maybe he was just trying to buy her love. She didn't laugh. Instead, she looked at me with pity. She said, "You just don't understand what women want." Maybe she was right. Because what she wanted wasn't love, it was validation. And what I offered wasn't enough for her world. I kept telling myself things would change. That she'd realize how much I cared for her. But deep down, I felt the distance growing. The woman I fell for was fading, replaced by someone colder. Someone who valued status more than sincerity. I didn't know it yet, but she was already planning the dinner. The one that would change everything. It happened on a Friday afternoon. Lauren texted me while I was at work. "The girls finally want to meet you. Dinner tomorrow at 7. She added a smiley face at the end like it was good news. The restaurant was called Meridian, a place I'd only heard about. Appetizers started at $25, entrees around 80. It was the kind of place where people went to be seen. Still, I was excited. After 10 months, I would finally meet the people closest to her. I thought this was a good sign. Maybe she wanted to move forward. I dressed well, nothing fancy, just a clean shirt and khakis. I brought her flowers, like I always did for special occasions. When I arrived, they were already seated. 6 of them, including Lauren, all perfectly made up. Empty appetizer plates were pushed aside. The air felt heavy the moment I sat down. "Ladies, this is Ethan," Lauren said, smiling too sweetly. Their eyes moved over me like I was a product on sale. "So this is the famous Ethan," Brittany said with fake charm. "Lauren's told us so much about you," Madison added, smirking. The way she said it made my stomach twist. I tried to start normal conversation. But every question they asked was a trap. "So, what exactly do you do in real estate?" "Oh, you mean like selling houses?" When I explained commercial development, they looked unimpressed. That sounds complicated, Ashley said, rolling her eyes. It can be, but I enjoy it, I replied, keeping my tone polite. Lauren sat silently, sipping her wine. Then came the real attacks, hidden under fake compliments. We love that you do budget-friendly dates, Madison said. That's so responsible. I forced a smile and said I believed in being smart with money. They exchanged looks like I'd said something disgusting. Smart or just careful? Tiffany asked, raising her eyebrow. There's a difference between responsible and limited, Samantha said. Their words stung, but I stayed calm. I could feel them circling like sharks. Ashley leaned forward and said, Lauren's ex drove a Mercedes. He used to take her to the Bahamas. Such a generous man. I looked at Lauren, waiting for her to speak up. She didn't. She just stared at her plate. That silence said everything. For the next hour, they picked apart my life piece by piece. My car, my clothes, my apartment, even my hobbies. Every part of me was too average for their standards. And through it all, Lauren never defended me once. Not one word. When they started discussing engagement timelines, I'd had enough. If a man's serious, he should plan next steps, Brittany said. Those things require financial stability, Samantha added. I stood up slowly, my chair scraping the floor. Well, this has been enlightening, I said evenly. Brittany smiled. Are we making you uncomfortable? Not at all, I said. Just learning about priorities. I placed $300 cash on the table. That should cover dinner. Have a lovely evening. Their eyes widened as the bills hit the table. I turned to Lauren. We'll talk later, I said quietly. As I walked out, she called after me. Ethan, don't be so dramatic. They're just looking out for me. I stopped at the door and looked back once. I can see that, I said. Then I left, and something inside me snapped. I wasn't angry, I was done. I sat in my car for a long time after leaving the restaurant. The city lights blurred through the windshield as I tried to breathe. I wasn't heartbroken, I was humiliated. The woman I cared for had sat there while her friends tore me apart. And she didn't say a single word to stop them. That kind of silence is louder than any insult. I drove home and didn't answer her messages that night. Around midnight, my best friend Ryan called. How bad was it? He asked. Worse than you can imagine, I said quietly. She let them humiliate me, man. Ryan paused, then said, You ready to show them who they messed with? His voice snapped me out of the fog. Yeah, I was ready. We spent the weekend planning. Ryan was great at research. And I was patient enough to dig. Together, we decided to find out who these people really were. Lauren and her sisters acted like queens, but queens of what? We started with their social media. Their lives looked perfect. Designer bags, champagne, luxury trips. But perfection online usually hides a lot of cracks. Brittany posted about being a successful business coach. A few clicks later, we found out she was selling supplements in an MLM. Her income disclosure showed she made less than $800 a month. Her Venmo history was public, full of rent requests from her mom. Madison bragged about influencer deals and brand partnerships. Ryan ran her account through a tool that checks engagement. 80% of her followers were bots she paid for. She worked part-time at a makeup counter, earning barely enough to live. Ashley, the fitness model, was the easiest one to expose. Ryan found her on a sugar dating website with a full rate list. She was literally charging men for companionship. Tiffany, the bank teller, was pretending to be a financial advisor. But her Reddit account told the real story. She was drowning in debt and asking strangers how to pay her loans. Her savings balance, $200. Samantha, the nurse, wasn't much better. Her Twitter was filled with complaints about work and money. She only dated men who made over 6 figures. We dug deeper and found Lauren's ex-boyfriend, Trevor. He was the gold standard they'd all compared me to. Except he wasn't gold, more like rust. He'd been fired from his job for lying on reports. His Mercedes was repossessed 6 months ago. Now he lived with his parents and worked part-time at a game store. When Ryan showed me that, I laughed for the first time in days. "So that's the man they thought was better than you," he said. "Guess so," I replied. But the best discovery was about Lauren herself. Her Venmo was full of requests for rent, groceries, and gas money. She was broke, pretending to live rich and hoping I'd be her way out. When I didn't play that role, she turned on me. That night, I stared at my reflection and felt something shift. They thought I was beneath them because I didn't flash my money. Fine. Now I was going to show them exactly what they'd dismissed. And this time, I wasn't going to be quiet about it. Monday morning, I woke up before the sun. My decision was already made. If they judged me by appearances, I would give them a new one to look at. Not for their approval, but for their education. I transferred $75,000 from my investment account. I drove straight to the BMW dealership downtown. The salesman smiled like he could smell the commission. "I'll take the M4, I said. He asked if I needed financing. I handed him a cashier's check and said, "No, I'm good." 2 hours later, I drove out in a brand new black BMW. The engine roared like it knew it was part of a statement. Next stop was Tiffany & Co. I bought a $5,000 necklace. Not for Lauren, just to make a point. Then I went home, parked the car, and staged a few photos. The BMW keys on the desk. The Tiffany box beside my laptop. My investment portfolio open on the screen, showing 7 figures. I took the pictures, added soft lighting, and posted them. Caption: Monday motivation. Sometimes the best investment is yourself. Within minutes, my phone started buzzing. Ryan texted first. "Damn, you just pressed the nuclear button." Then came the notifications. Likes, comments, messages, hundreds of them. And among them, Lauren's name appeared. "Is that your car?" she wrote. Then another. "Where did you get the money for that?" I didn't answer. An hour later, the rest of the sister squad joined in. Brittany: "Hey Ethan, maybe we got off on the wrong foot." Madison: "Wow, I had no idea you were doing so well." Ashley: "We should hang out sometime, you seem fun." Tiffany: "I think we misjudged you. Coffee soon." Samantha: "Hey, I'm sorry if we were rude. Let's talk." I screenshotted every single one and sent them to Ryan. He replied with a laughing emoji and said, "They're predictable." Lauren kept calling. 5 times, 10 times. Finally, she texted, "Please, I need to see you." I ignored her and posted another photo. My desk. My computer screen showing the investment, numbers clearly. Caption: "Back to work, the market doesn't wait." That's when everything exploded. People started talking. Friends, coworkers, even some of her acquaintances messaged me. Lauren called again and again, but I declined every time. By the evening, she was at my door pounding hard. "Ethan, open up, we need to talk." I let her in. She looked different, tired, shaken, desperate. "Why didn't you tell me?" she demanded. "Tell you what?" I asked. "That you're rich, that you have all this money." I shrugged. "You never asked." Her eyes filled with tears. "I thought you were just normal." "I am normal," I said, "just not the kind you wanted." She tried to reach for me, but I stepped back. "You didn't care who I was. You only cared what I had." She whispered, "I made a mistake." I nodded. "Yeah, you did, and now it's my turn to teach the lesson." She stared at me, confused. But I was already thinking ahead. Tomorrow, the real show would begin. The next morning, my phone was full of unread messages. Lauren had spent the night sending apology after apology. Some were angry, some were desperate. She didn't know which version of herself might reach me. By noon, she was outside my apartment again. When I opened the door, she looked like she hadn't slept. Her voice cracked as soon as she spoke. "Ethan, please, can we talk? I need to explain." I crossed my arms and waited. She took a deep breath. "I didn't mean to hurt you." I stayed silent. "You embarrassed me," she said. "You made me look foolish online." I almost laughed. "I embarrassed you. Lauren, you sat and watched while your friends mocked me." "They were just protective," she said weakly. "No, they were cruel and you let them be." Her face fell. She stepped closer. "I thought you were hiding something." "I was," I said. "My patience." She flinched, but I kept going. "You judged me by my car, my clothes, my apartment." "I thought you were broke," she whispered. "And you treated me like I was." Tears welled in her eyes. "You could have told me the truth." "Why? So you could decide I was finally worth your time." She shook her head. "That's not fair." "It's perfectly fair," I said. "You didn't want a partner, you wanted a provider." "I just wanted security," she said softly. "You wanted status," I replied. "There's a difference." She started crying. "Please, I can change." I looked at her, remembering the girl I met months ago. That version of her was gone. "You didn't love me," I said quietly. "You loved what I could offer." "I love you now," she said. "You love the version of me on Instagram," I answered. She covered her face and sobbed. "Ethan, I lost my job because of what happened. Everyone's talking about me." I raised an eyebrow. "And that's my fault." "They think I used you. They think I'm shallow." I didn't reply. The silence said enough. "Please," she begged, "help me fix this." "How?" I asked. "I don't know," she said. "Maybe post something nice. Tell people I'm not what they think." I looked her straight in the eye. "I don't fix lies, Lauren, I reveal them." She reached out, trying to touch my hand. I pulled away. "You taught me what happens when people mistake kindness for weakness." "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I really am." "I believe you," I said. "But sorry doesn't erase what you did." She looked broken. "What are you going to do?" she asked. I smiled faintly. "You'll find out soon." She stared at me like she wanted to stop me but couldn't. Then she turned and walked away slowly, tears on her face. When the door closed, I stood there for a long time. It wasn't revenge I felt, it was clarity. And that kind of clarity is dangerous. The next morning, I opened my laptop and began. I wasn't going to yell or threaten. I was going to tell the truth, one post at a time. The truth always hurts more when it's public. I started with Madison, the fake influencer. I posted a side-by-side photo of her designer bag. Next to it was the same bag listed online for $35. Caption: "Some people fake luxury but can't fake class." Then I moved on to Brittany, the wellness coach. I shared her MLM income disclosure. $743 in monthly earnings. Caption: "Financial freedom looks different when your rent costs more." The messages started rolling and instantly. Ryan texted laughing emojis. "This is brutal," he wrote. I wasn't done. Next was Tiffany, the self-proclaimed financial expert. I posted screenshots from her Reddit account, asking for loan help. Caption: "Advice from a bank teller with 200 in savings." Then came Ashley. I posted a blurred screenshot of her sugar dadding profile. Caption: "Charging per hour but judging others for being broke." Finally, Samantha. I shared her dating app filter, showing she only matched men over 6 figures. Caption: "Searching for love or a paycheck, hard to tell." The internet did the rest. People shared, commented, and laughed. The story spread faster than I expected. Lauren and her friends started calling within hours. "Brittany, you have to take this down. This is harassment." Madison, "My boss saw it. I could lose my job." Ashley, "You're destroying our lives." Tiffany, This is illegal. Samantha, I'll report you to Instagram. But none of it mattered. The screenshots were already everywhere. By the end of the week, everything collapsed for them. Brittany's company cut ties after her fake success was exposed. Madison was fired when her boss found out about her fake followers. Ashley lost her clients when people recognized her profile. Tiffany was suspended from her job at the bank. Samantha's dating profiles were banned one by one. And Lauren. She lost her marketing job after her boss saw her Venmo history. The same one filled with requests for rent, groceries, and gas. She called me crying again. Please, Ethan, I have nothing left. I can't pay my rent. I'm sorry to hear that, I said calmly. Please, I'll do anything, just help me. Anything, I asked. Yes, she whispered. Then apologize publicly. Tell the truth about what you did. She went silent. I can't, she said. Everyone already hates me. Then you've made your choice, I replied. I hung up and blocked her number. In the following weeks, every one of them reached out again. They begged, cried, and promised they had changed. But it was too late. They had written their own ending. I didn't need revenge anymore. They punished themselves by living the lives they faked. For me, it was over. And for the first time in a long while, I felt free. Months passed, and life became quiet again. I stopped checking old messages and focused on work. The noise, the chaos, the anger, it all faded away. One afternoon, I met someone new. Her name was Emily. She was a school teacher who smiled with her whole face. She never asked what I drove or how much I made. She just laughed at my dumb jokes and listened when I spoke. We spent weekends cooking and watching the sunset from my balcony. It felt peaceful in a way I hadn't known before. After a while, I told her the truth about my finances. She just smiled and said, "That's nice, but I like you for you." That one sentence erased every doubt I had. A few weeks later, I received a message from Lauren. She said losing me had taught her what truly mattered. She said she was sorry for everything. I didn't reply. Some lessons don't need words. Because in the end, peace is louder than revenge. They all learned that money doesn't define worth. And I learned that love, real love, never asks for proof.